Hi guys, I wanted to make a video for you. I've had a lot of people ask me questions kind of for an update about my health, how things have been going with me. So I thought I'd put a video out for you and kind of give you an idea of what I'm doing for my gastroparesis. As you can see, I no longer have a feeding tube. Last month I pulled it out with the doctor's approval. It started to affect my body like my surgical feeding tube did. It started causing some problems, and I just was not getting better with the formula, and there really wasn't much else that the doctors could do. They were kind of at a loss, and so we came to an agreement that I would just branch out on my own and just start to treat myself basically naturally. And since I do have a medical background that was approved by my doctor, because we had nothing to lose, so everything else that the medical field tried for me failed and did not work, and in fact sometimes caused more issues. So God really led me to go down the natural route, kind of go back to the basics, and just kind of look into more natural treatment protocols and things like that. Now, I want to preface this by saying that not everyone who has gastroparesis will be able to go a natural route. Everybody's gastroparesis story is different. Mine was the one thing that we all have in common with our gastroparesis story. It is a living hell, and so that's across the board with everyone. But I just couldn't keep doing that. What the doctors were having me do was just, I had to find something else, or had to be something else, and I in fact found something else that works for me. And like I was saying, this is something that is a personal thing for me. This is not, like I said, not everyone will benefit from this. Not everyone body would be able to accept this, and things like that. So don't do everything that I'm doing just because you have gastroparesis, but it may give you an idea of what to look into for yourself, to do your own research and see how all that goes. It's a terrible road, but there is hope. I didn't think there was. I was very, very hopeless. I was at the end of my rope, at the end of my feeding tube, and there was just nothing else. Because of my unique situation, because I don't have just gastroparesis. I also have, I struggle and fight with several illnesses, and so they all kind of fight against each other, and so that's why, you know, some things that work for other people with gastroparesis won't work for me, and wasn't able to work for me or be a part of my treatment plan because of my other illnesses. So I just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of an idea of what I'm doing, and maybe that you can look into some things yourself and go from there. I'm going to show you all the things I'm doing right now, and I will try to go into detail with that, or kind of what it does for me, and I will show you that in just a second. Okay, so I'm going to go through some of my herbs that I'm using first. One of the things I use is ginger. This helps with nausea. It helps with motility. I don't take that one every single day, but if things seem a little more heavy in my stomach, then I'll take one of those. The other one is called Triphala. I don't know if this is going to focus. It's going to focus on me. Okay, there we go, maybe. Triphala is, there's 3 herbs in this, which are the alma fruit, bib-hitaki, haritaki fruit, and what this Triphala does is it acts as a motility herb. So it helps with kind of like Reglan or domperidone and things like that in the medicine side. This on the herbal side helps do that. So I take that kind of with my meals to kind of help get things moving along. I also take my digestive enzyme every time I eat, and then I also have betaine, betaine HCl, which is hydrochloric acid. This one is a kosher one. It doesn't have pork, because a lot of times you'll get pepsin from pork in your regular one, but this is from it's a fungal pepsin, and this helps kind of give you digest your food also if you are low in acid in your stomach. And a lot of times when you have heartburn and acid problems, it's usually not because you have too much acid. And like in my case, they were giving me tons of Pepsid and Prevacid, and it was just making everything worse for me. Those particular medications actually slow motility, so it was like very counterproductive for gastroparesis. And so I am no longer on those medications, and so I only take these particular herbs. And so and you can do apple cider vinegar too, helps with the acid. I also take this advanced DGL from Cherry Naturals there, and that kind of acts as a stomach soother. It kind of gives it a buffer, and that's kind of, it would kind of be an herbal kind of like an herbal, I guess like a herbal Pepsid almost. But then I also use slippery elm. I don't know if you can see that though. Look at slippery elm is very good at soothing the GI tract. So if I have some stomach upset or things like that, then I use that, and this is a tincture, and I just put it in some water and I take it like that. I also use this is my medical cannabis, and I don't have to use this as often anymore, but that one helps with nausea and it helps with appetite. But it's a 1-to-1 ratio, and I have a love-hate relationship with medical cannabis. I can't do straight CBD because it gives me horrible migraines, and sometimes this will give me some dizziness, so I don't use it very often anymore, and thankfully I don't have to. Another thing that I use is Himalayan salt, chunky Himalayan salt, or coarse. And I just pop one of those under my tongue when I'm nauseous. It helps with nausea, and it helps with stimulating digestion. It's amazing how much it works. The other thing I do is I stimulate my vagus nerve, and I use this tool to do that. So it just turns on, and you can push a number, and I usually do my neck around here, and then there's a spot like in your ear that I do to stimulate my vagus nerve. But for this tool, I got it on Amazon, and it's like a acupuncture pin, I think is what they call it. So I use this in different spots in my body to help stimulate my stomach also, but you'll want to do your own research to find out where those places are on you. But it's super easy, super inexpensive, and it just stimulates that vagus nerve if you have a sluggish vagus nerve, if it needs toned up. It's not going to help you if for some reason you had surgery and your vagus nerve was severed, and that's why you have gastroparesis. But if you have idiopathic gastroparesis that they're not sure what has caused it, if it's a virus or something like that, then stimulating your vagus nerve helps, and it's helped me a lot. The other thing I take is vitamins, obviously, but I can't take them orally still. They upset my stomach. I can't take the under the tongue ones, the dissolvable ones, because they have a lot of those artificial sugars like mannitol, xylitol, and stuff like sorbitol, and that makes me kind of sick. So I use these vitamin patches. I use one with, this one has iron, and this one is a no iron one from Patch MD, and I alternate those I just alternate them, so I have iron one day and not the next. That's just what I do. It's just what I do. And I don't know what that is in the middle of my screen, but hopefully it's not covering up my face. I don't know. I'm not a very good YouTuber, but, and then for my drink, what I use is this organic fuel. For days where, you know, my stomach's not feeling great, I still have days where, well, frankly, I struggle every day still, but it's now I can treat it, and I don't I no longer just like hope for death, if that makes sense. I can actually live my life. I feel better, but I don't have perfect days yet. All of this is a new thing for my body. I'm in a transition period now where it's coming off of a feeding tube formula, and and those are really crappy, let's just be honest. Most of them. There are some that are okay. I didn't tolerate those, of course. But so I went from feeding tube formula to organic food. And so my body is kind of in this transition period, and it's healing from the inside out and doing all the things. And the other thing is fermented foods are really, really important. And so I make my own, these are kefir, water kefir grains. So I make my own water kefir, and I have that every day. I have sauerkraut, yogurt, and things like that. I used to drink kombucha, but I used to make kombucha, but that gives me a headache. So I do water kefir, and it's delicious. And then the last thing I do is something called the hummingbird from Vital Motion. And what this contraption does is you put your feet on it, and it sends up vibrations through your calf muscles. And so when it does that, it contracts those calf muscles. And so because I also have dysautonomia and POTS, this helps keep that blood supply flowing out of my legs instead of pooling in my legs. And when I have adequate blood supply to my body, my stomach functions better. Instead of, like with POTS and dysautonomia, everything pulls away from your digestive system, and then it doesn't work properly. So this helps with that. It also helps with fibromyalgia pain. It's been a useful tool for me. It gives me more energy. Like I said, it's getting the blood back to my brain more and things like that. So that helps. So that's pretty much all I'm doing right now. I'm resting. My body's going through like a slow detox right now. Yeah. But the blessing of all of this is I'm able to eat again. Like I can eat food, and but I'm really strict about it being organic. My body, that's just, for me, that's what I'm doing for my body, and that's what it thrives on right now. And if I don't eat organic, I can really tell, and it's like a back step, or I don't know, I'm not very good at terms, but a step back. And so I try to keep it organic, and that's going to allow my body to heal itself from the inside out the way God intended it to. And it's a slow process. None of this happens like overnight, and I'm a very impatient person. So this has been a learning experience for me, and patience, and I didn't get sick with gastroparesis overnight, and so I'm not going to kind of be well overnight. But these are the things that have really, really helped me be able to actually go out. I can eat a meal with my husband now. I can cook things for us, and I can actually eat them. It's got me back to having focus on things in life, such as, now I can grow my garden again. I can do my hydroponics. I can eat my chicken's eggs again, and things like that. So it's just been a very big blessing, and I really thank Abba for that, because his leading to the natural treatment has just been very beneficial. And I know in time it will keep building on itself, and over time I'll just get better and better and stronger and stronger. So as I just keep doing what I'm doing, keep eating natural fermented foods. One thing I did forget, and I didn't get them out. Another thing I do is I put I use essential oils also, so I put those on my feet. One of the ones I use is Digestins, I think it's called, by doTERRA, I don't know. I use that on my feet, turmeric on my feet, peppermint, and things like that. After I looked into this, there was a group on Facebook that actually, I think it's called Healing Gastroparesis Naturally, and the particular, there's a woman in there who started that, and she has a certain protocol that you can use as some some of those things. So if you want to check that out, she has a specific protocol she uses. So I use some of that, but I also had started other things with the herbs and stuff like that, and the stimulator and stuff like that before I even saw that group. But it's been a helpful group. And so Healing Gastroparesis Naturally, I think is what it's called. So you might want to check that out if you have gastroparesis. But anyway, that's just a hopefully not too boring, but I just want to give you an update. It's been very nice to be free from my feeding tube, not be attached to a backpack 24/7, and just the freedom to live my life has been just joyous, and very, very thankful for that. So I appreciate your guys' support, and if you keep praying for this transition, and for my body to continually, to steadily get stronger and heal and just get better. So with that, I will say thank you, and I will see you next time.